I've got 6.5 pounds of tri-tip, a couple ears of corn, and they are all going out on the pit barrel cooker. That's right, it's going to be a feast, but it's going to be tomorrow. Today, I want to get these 2 tri-tips trimmed up and rubbed, and they're going to spend overnight in the refrigerator with that rub just absorbing the flavors. So these are untrimmed tri-tips. Try and say that 3 times fast. Untrimmed tri-tips. Untrimmed tri-tips. So we're going to do a little bit of trimming on these. Just want to turn them over here. And you can see we have a pretty good fat layer, and we don't need all of that. So we're just going to take it down a bit. This hard fat isn't going to do much for us. You also have like this membrane, which is almost like skin right here, and that doesn't do a thing. It needs to come off. I'm going to try not to lose too much meat here, but you may lose a little bit. Again, we're not going to get everything off of here, just the excess. I want to expose as much of the meat on this side as possible because tri-tip doesn't take that long to cook. You're not going to have a lot of time to render any fat down. So any fat that's blocking the absorption of flavor from a rub is really not helping us. Let's see, I think we're getting pretty close here on this one. And these are both USDA Choice tri-tip. Let's check the other side. This is not too bad. The membrane's right here. Get this one little bit of membrane here along the side. That's a pretty tough one. All right, that's good. I'm going to go ahead and trim the other one up, and then we're going to move on to the rubs. So I'm going to be using 2 different rubs here, one for each of these tri-tips. The first rub I'm going to be using is the Texas Best Brisket Rub from Heaven Made Products. And we'll just use that on this one over here. Get the edges. Ends. Want a good coating here. That one's good. And it doesn't matter if a little gets on the other one. They're friends. For this one, we're going to be using a coffee garlic rub from Trader Joe's. I've used it before and it's really good. A nice coating on here. This has a great flavor on beef. So there we go. Both our tri-tips are rubbed. Now these are going to go in some bags in the refrigerator overnight, and I'll see you tomorrow out at the pit barrel cooker. All right, our 2 tri-tips have spent overnight in the refrigerator just bathing in those 2 rubs, that one from Heaven Made Products and the coffee garlic rub from Trader Joe's. Now we're going to get them out of the pit barrel cooker. But first, I mentioned we're also going to be doing some corn. So I want to get the corn ready to go out there on the pit barrel cooker. So I've just got 2 regular old ears of corn here. I've gotten 99% of the silk off of it. And I just sort of gave it a quick rinse under water here just to give it a little moisture before we wrap it in foil with some seasoning. So we've got some foil here. We're just going to put one of the ears right in the middle. And I want to take maybe a couple tablespoons of butter here and just sort of break it apart. Doesn't have to go everywhere. It's going to melt inside here. And for the seasoning on this today, I'm going to be using a rub that I've been working on. I don't want to give the ingredients yet because I haven't perfected it. It's pretty close. I'll do a video on it once I get it just right. But really, you can use any seasoning you want here. Salt, pepper, garlic powder, anything, nothing. Give it a good dusting. And I do want to roll the corn around a little bit just to get some of this on every side. Doesn't have to be heavy. All right, get it in there with our butter. Now we're just going to wrap this up tight. Just like that. I'm going to get the other one wrapped up, and then we're going to get our tri-tip ready. So here are our 2 tri-tips, our one with the coffee garlic rub and the other with the Texas Best Brisket Rub. And right now I just want to get hooks into them. Now, tri-tip is obviously much thicker at one end than the other. Normally you'd put the hook in this end and just hang it down, but I don't want this end to cook so fast that this is just where I want it when this is charred. The pit barrel cooker does have heat rising and it circulates around and it cooks great, but if you have a thicker cut of meat, if you can get that thicker part down closer to the coals, it's going to cook more evenly. So I am actually going to double hook these. So I'm going to start by going down here closer to the bottom, just like that. So we have one hook down there, and then we're gonna go through this top hook closer to the top, so that it is gonna be hanging right close to the top. The smallest end is gonna be the furthest away from the charcoal, right at the top of where that heat rises. This is gonna cook, I'm pretty sure, just the way I want it. Let's do the other one. Same thing here. I'm gonna hook this right about here. And we're gonna go right in this hook, right like that. So we're double hooked. If this gets too tender and this wants to pull out, you have a safety valve here. Yeah, I lost a rack of ribs a couple weeks ago. I salvaged them, but you know, I didn't have enough hooks to double hook them then. I have enough today. All right, let's get everything out to the pit barrel cooker. So as you can see, I have the split grate on the pit barrel cooker today because our tri-tips are going to be hanging and the corn is going to be resting on the half grate that's in position. So let's go ahead and get our tri-tips on. So I have my temperature probe already in here, and I just want to get this down into the thickest part of this little bit larger tri-tip. Positioning my corn here. Trying to keep the seam side of the foil wrap up. And I want to add a piece of post oak here. I should have done that before I put everything on, but hey, sometimes you forget. So we're just going to get down in here, drop that in. Now we're going to get our lid on, get smoking. Now I've done hundreds of tri-tips, but I've never done one on the pit barrel cooker. So this is going to be a little different today. Normally I would use my 110 sear method, where I indirect cook it to 110 degrees, quickly sear it directly, then move it back indirect until it's 130 internal. Today, I'm just taking it to 130 degrees internal. Now that smaller tri-tip might be a little bit past that. I'm okay with that. There's people that like it cooked a little more close to medium. But for now, we're just gonna let it rock, get to 130 degrees. We'll check the corn and see if that needs a little bit more time when we reach that 130 for the tri-tip. So I'll see you back here in a little while. All right, we're at 129 degrees internal, so I want to check this in just a few seconds here to make sure we're getting close to that 130 everywhere in it. But I want you to notice the high temp that's on the right side of the ThermoWorks smoke, 270. I've never put an ambient temperature probe in this PBC before, and that was just the meat temperature probe laying on the grate before I inserted it into the tri-tip. So that does give you an idea of where the temperature is coming up to, and that was before it was fully going. It's supposed to run between 275 and 300, and from my experience with the doneness of the meat that I've had in there and the time things have taken to cook, it's right in that 275 to 300 range. So let's go ahead and give our tri-tips a check. It smells fantastic, and I can already see great color on there. So let's pull our big guy up here and take a quick check with the Thermapen. Easy way to do that. Lay a little tray there. All right, let's check some temps here. You can see that 133 down there near the bottom. Let's see up here. That's showing 132. I don't know if you can see that here, 132. We are done. Let's get our internal probe out of here. Let's get our other tri-tip off because this smaller one is definitely going to be even probably a little more done than that one. Now the corn I'm going to let go for probably about 15 more minutes before I check it, so we're going to get our lid on and let that finish. All right, let's give our corn a check here and see how it's doing. One of the best ways I've found to tell when you're doing it in foil like this is just to kind of squeeze it. And you can feel if those kernels are tender. You can feel them sort of collapsing under the pressure of your fingertips there. Yep, these are good. All right, I'm going to get these off, get them inside, and we're gonna have some tri-tip and corn. All right, here is our tri-tip. Here are both ears of corn. They turned out really good. The smell coming off of them with that rub that I'm trying to develop is really, really nice. With the butter and everything, just a good smell coming off of them. Got some nice little grill marks, even though we were never really directly on the grill with that foil in contact. Get a little heat, that's perfect. And if you wanted to, when they're getting close to done, you could take them out of the foil, put them directly on the grill grates, let them develop a little bit of char, great flavor. But right now, we're gonna cut into this tri-tip. Now this is the one with the coffee garlic rub. The other one is sitting over there still resting. I'm only gonna cut into one today. But man, let's see how we did. Juice-a-lanch? I don't know. Go right down the center here. Oh yeah. That looks pretty good to me, I don't know. Oh, beautiful, nice medium rare in there. Gotta say, color on the outside is great. It doesn't have the sear that I would traditionally get using my 110 sear method, but the color is just fantastic. I have nothing to complain about with this on the pit barrel cooker. That's a terrific way to cook these. Let's cut a slice. We're getting the juice-a-lanch there. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, nice. Just beautiful. Look at that. All right, what else am I gonna say here? It's time to taste. So I've got tri-tip and I've got corn. The question is which to taste first. The corn, we're gonna get the corn out of the way first. Now, nothing wrong with corn, but come on, it's tri-tip we really wanna taste. So I cut some of the corn off the cob just so it's a little bit easier to eat. We'll see. I love doing corn out on the grill, whether it's wrapped in foil or directly on the cooking grate. You develop such nice flavor, and when you add seasoning, a rub, butter, things like that wrapped in the foil, it's just such an easy way to get that flavor to permeate throughout the corn. And now, tri-tip. Let's see how we did. Oh man. First of all, I really like that coffee garlic rub. Now, if coffee is not your thing, use another rub. That's no problem at all. But really, I'm impressed with the way the pit barrel cooker turned this out in the way that I normally wouldn't cook it. Sort of a direct, indirect way, where it's actually over the coals, but far enough away to be fully indirect, and it tastes terrific. All the tenderness, all the juice that I would expect if I was doing it the traditional way that I do it. And it is really cooked exactly to the level of doneness that I want it. So by using a remote thermometer probe and the pit barrel cooker, I can get results which rival what I can get on the kettle. Now that took just under an hour out on the PBC. And that makes sense because if you're going at a 275 to 300 range, that's about what I'd expect for tri-tip. Tri-tip cooks really quickly. That's one of the nice things about it. You can get a tender, juicy piece of meat in under an hour if you want. You can cook it at higher temperatures and even go faster. I've done it in 35 to 40 minutes before with the temperature at 350 to 375. It cooks very quickly, and you do have to watch that internal temperature so you don't kind of shoot past it and get past the level of doneness you want. But this right here, right in the zone. Okay, I called an audible. I went and cut a piece of the other tri-tip with that Texas Best brisket rub from Heaven Made Products. Perfectly cooked, medium rare, right there out of the center. So I was expecting that to be a little further on because it was a slightly smaller tri-tip, but honestly, it hit right in the zone too. Let's see how it tastes. That rub has a perfect balance of savory and salt. You get it right throughout the meat, and especially on that little bit of a crust that forms on the outside. I really, really like that. In fact, I'm going back for another taste. So if you've got a pit barrel cooker and you have some tri-tips, 1, 2, 4, 6, try it. Put them on there, give them a great rub. Give them that time, probably less than an hour. You're gonna have something like this, which you can feed your family or you can feed the neighborhood depending on how many you put on. Oh man.